There we go. Hi. How are y'all doing? Okay. This is my legal disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, but I've played one on the internet, and so successfully. So when I talk about, and on my offensive talks, it's very important. When I talk about things like, well, I broke in here or I robbed these people of this, you're going like, that's not nice. I thought you were a nice person. Remember the kittens. I'm adorable, okay? I will not try to steal from you, kill you, or ruin you financially unless you pay me first. There is always a contract. So when I get into those parts of the talks where you go and like, it's like, just remember the kittens. So ironically enough, because I had already planned this way in advance, this was my title of my talk today. I love the stickers that are out there. It's called Perceptions from a Blue Tractor to a Blue and Black Dress. Because I love the whole concept of blue tractors because, at first we look at them like, oh, they're just, farming equipment. Who knew they were so effective as anti-tank weapons, right? It's like, I never knew that. It's like, but here we are. They're very versatile, as it turns out. So it's like, it's basically about our perceptions where we see, oh, this is how I see the world. This is how I see this thing happening. And then, oh, it can also do this. Worst flight of the deck, it's just me. Go to the website. It's like I live tweet my life on Twitter, unfortunately, for myself and a lot of people. And if you want to know where I've been, go to hackeradventures.world. But to sum it up, I like riding my motorcycle. I like speaking in front of people like you guys. I like proving reporters wrong. I like traveling the world. I robbed a bank on television, and I love playing No Man's Sky. So that's just me in a nutshell. Done. Okay, so let's get to the stuff. I hate so much. I get ranty in the morning, so I apologize in advance. I hate so much that whole thing. Humans are the weakest link. That's stupid. It's like, and that is a poor excuse for bad information security doing their job. It's like humans are not the weakest link. They're the least invested in. We're spending so much time on blinky boxes and trying to get technology to protect humans. We're not investing in getting humans to protect the technology. Technology should be the safety net for when the human makes a mistake, not the be-all, end-all defenses, and then we can blame it on the user when they click a link. Stupid user clicked on a link. Stupid user went to a website. Stupid information security didn't properly train their users. So that's part of my rant. And another thing is I hate APT. I am not advanced in any of the attacks that I do. I'm sort of persistent, but I'm definitely not a threat. I mean, come on, look at me. See, no, I don't do APTs. Everybody likes to say APT stands for Advanced Persistent Threats. APT is what your CEOs tell the public and your shareholders when they get popped by an email, okay? That's APT. It's like AP stands for Adequate Phishing Technique. That is APT, okay? I don't do APT. I do bad, basic, adorable destruction. I just go in there and try to F you up in the worst possible way at the worst possible time and I'm bad. It's like I'm great at parties. It's like, so that's what I try to do. So I want to show you some techniques on how I do that, and that's what this talk is going to be about, showing you some of the basic things that I've done, but using perception to do it. And so I started off with, showing you just this one little basic thing from the online side, and then I will show you some videos. Yay, visuals. It's like on actually how I do it in the field, actually robbing banks. So Ernst & Young is a great security auditing firm, right? It's like, that's what I'm going to believe. And I tried to get a job from them about 20 years ago, and we're about 18 years ago. I don't hold a grudge. I hold a grudge. It's like, but I didn't have I only had a high school. I was a high school dropout, so I had a GED, no college, and they wouldn't let me in. And so screw them. I decided to target them for this talk. So here they are, the Ernst & Young, the New York City building, the big building everybody talks about because it's got the Ernst & Young on the side of the building. But the key thing is you got to understand that the Ernst & Young building, it's like it may have their name on it, but they're not the ones managing the building, right? I mean, you look at Stark Tower, you don't think Tony is like, well, Tony can't do that anymore. But you don't think Tony was actually the one collecting the rent and making sure the Starbucks was, you know, paying the rent on time, right? No, there's a management company for that. So while security firm, you know, like Ernst & Young is very security minded, how security minded is the property management company? Because that's the one that's actually doing the work. And what is their main motivation? To sell retail space, to sell office space. So when I'm about to go and do an engagement, one of the key things I need to know is how to act natural, because I don't act naturally. It's like, obviously, okay, look at me. It's like, so what I like to do is I like to figure out patterns. It's like where traffic is, where things are at. So I go to the property management sites, architectural sites. I go to those things because they show me inside the building before I get there. It's very helpful. In a case in point, another thing that it shows me is target areas. Because now, from their property management site, I know the main restaurants that the employees go to out of headquarters, because you don't want to stray too far because you're a good employee, you know, but you don't want to eat the cafeteria food because that sucks, let's be honest. It's like, so, have you seen the review of some, hold on, I don't get ahead of myself. But it's like you get to the point where it's like, you know, you want to go to a nice restaurant. So, and then this is the hotels where the out of visitors stay, you know, the visiting people show up. And there's just, I mean, all these different locations. And now I know exactly where to start trying to clone badges. Now I know where to start taking pictures of employees to see where they're going to work, where they're going to lunch. Now I can see what flyers I can send to employees saying they can get a discount on their lunch. It's like if they print out this PDF. So that's what I love that. But the best part about it, sometimes there comes along an example where you just go, chef's kiss. Ernst & Young delivers. You know what's better than just getting architectural sites and figuring out where people are going? Is actually getting the blueprints of the building you're trying to rob. How awesome is that? It's like, I think it's cool. It's like, but I get overly excited, obviously. But here we go. One of the things I love about it is you look here and it shows you where the public floor plan is. But look how they highlight yellow, they highlight the blue, and it's like, and what they're trying to do is like, that's what the areas you're supposed to pay attention to. Why? Never pay attention to that stuff because they want you to look at that stuff. I want to see what they don't want me to look at, right? Look at all that gray area over there in the lower left-hand corner near 41st Street. That's the freight lobby where the freight elevator is. I love the freight lobby and the freight elevator. It's like, because you know why? The public area, there's guards and they're rude. It's like, you know, and they're always paying attention and asking you stupid questions like, what are you doing here? What's that device? And why do you want in? It's like, I don't have time for that. Nobody got time for that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to try to go into the gray areas and try to get in. And now I know exactly where to go. Hold on, it gets better. But now I know once I get in the freight elevator, I know where the layout is of every single floor section there is in the building. And that's important because I'm walking down a hallway, someone stops me and they say, hey, where are you going? It's like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm going down the electrical closet down there to the right. It's like, I'm doing an inspection. And like, that is where the electrical closet is. Go ahead. I'm like, exactly, thank you. It's like, and so it just, and look at that gray area. It's like, that's once again, that's the good stuff. And you're asking yourself, like, but Jason, it's so dark, and it's like, you got bad eyesight. It's like, that's okay. The brochure has everything, including making sure to ungray it in one section to make sure you sell all of it. So now you know exactly what's there. And see how there's the mailroom up there in the top slide, and I know it goes straight out into the conference area. One of the best things about elevators, freight elevators, they're usually locked, right? Because security. But there's an internal door sensor, and what does that do? So when someone's walking toward the exit, it unlocks it for you. So you just stand there for like, I think it was 15 minutes was my longest, acting like you're talking on the phone. It's like, trust me, it's not hard for me to act like I'm talking to myself. And it's like, and you just carry on. And then when someone walks by, you hear the click and you help yourself in. Or better yet, and I've had this happen, where someone gets out of the freight elevator, they see you, and you go, oh, wait, hold on, someone's here. It's like, can you, they're going to let me in. I'll meet you at your office. You don't have to do it now. It's like they're going to let me in now. Thank you. It's like, no, thank you, man. And you walk in. Because you gave them permission to do that because you were already talking to someone. They were going to let you in anyway, so they're just helping you out. So that's nice. And the best part is, this is what I used usually to hack your companies with. I'm not in my parents' basements. Like, I mean, my parents don't have a basement. It's like, if they did have a basement, I would totally be there. That's freaking cool to have a basement. But it's like, no, I'm usually in the lobby or like in this case, a Panera Bread eating some pizza. It's like, and hacking on this device. But I'm usually in your hotel lobby because you have Starbucks there or little cafes there. So I can sit there and I can monitor your traffic to see what your people are dressed like, to see when your shifts are, to see when security goes through and what they do and how they look for their patterns. It's like, so I can do all that and drink my, mocha chata latte. No, I mean, my Diet Pepsi, but, I like to sound fancy. And like, once again, that's what I was doing there. But hey, I wanted to make it more topical. So I thought, hey, why don't I just do headquarters in Gothenburg? What kind of headquarters do you have here that I can start targeting? Literally, I just did headquarters and said, you meant Volvo, didn't you? And I was like, okay, I guess so. It's like, oh yeah, I can tell by some of the people not smiling that, I guess there's some Volvo employees in here. But don't worry, my friend's trying to get a job, and she said, don't piss off Stefan. It's like, I guess he's a CISO guy. So I said, I will not do that, don't worry. But look right here, there's their Harvest has got the best rating of restaurants around there. You do not want to see what Volvo's cafeteria rating is. That is like, some of those comments are like, they should have deployed airbags on those. But this is the Harvest by Mannerstrom. It's got the best rating, so that's where I'm going to probably target most of the executives that are trying to impress people that are visiting the location. And the Arkand Hotel and Art Garden Spa sounds really fun. Security Fest didn't put me up there, but that's okay because I'm in walking distance. I'm not complaining. But it looks like a really nice place, and it's right beside, almost walking distance to the Volvo headquarters too. So that's exactly where I'm going to put my malicious Wi-Fi access points. That's where I'm going to try to talk to people in the bar and try to gather information from them because I'm a bad person, theoretically. It's like if I was doing it for a bad thing. But also, I look for social media posts. I tell people, if you want to know why information security people drink, just do a search on Instagram for hashtag new badge. It's like, I mean, I don't drink, and it's like I've been tempted, okay? It's like, but here's some of the badges that you can find, and I have literally robbed a company once, and it was in 15 minutes from going to Instagram, finding their badge, and getting it printed out. It's like, it was that simple. And some more social media posts. Just Instagram is full of giving. It's like, because sometimes we don't understand that you can't just search Instagram hashtags. You can search Instagram locations. So that means you get people taking pictures inside Ernst & Young. And so you get more employees' information and their social media profiles that you didn't even have before. So that's fun. And that's not fun. There we go. Okay. And so, see how I handled that just so smoothly? Okay, very good. But this is what we're going to do when we get the badge. We use the Badgie 1000. The only way this thing could be cooler is if it was called the Badgie 3000. Okay? But I will settle for the Badgie 1000. So here's the Badgie 1000, and it is great for all your badging needs. And the best part is, I've literally printed out badges who have no RFID tag information. When I do cloning, when I do those kind of tools, I do it as theoretical. I have never used an employee. Well, I mean, okay, I've stolen employees' badges and used their actual badges, but I've never cloned their badges. It's like, why? I will go up to the checkpoint with a badge that has no data on it whatsoever, but it's an employee badge with my name on it, and I will stand there for 10 minutes. This is not working. It's not registering. It's like nothing's there. It's like, and then they usually budge you in. So it's like, that's all. I mean, so I don't know why we have to go with all the high tech, you know, got to clone people. I just do it that way. Now here comes the best part. I want to ask you an important question. Because a lot of people in different industries, and they all have the same thing. It's never going to happen to me, or we're very secure, or we're very locked down because we got a lot of important data. So I always ask them, the question is, do you think where you work is more secure from infiltration and compromise than a bank which understands and is aware that people will try to rob it? I think it's a good question. I can tell by the silence that people are like contemplating it now. Like, It's like, but let's see what actually happens, because what we're going to do here is we're going to actually look at me robbing a bank. And we're going to look for my mouse first, and screw it, that means we're probably not going to have audio. But there we go. So we're going to watch, this is unedited, less than 8 minutes, me completely robbing every machine in the bank. Look at that lady. She knows I'm sketchy and up to no good. But I go past her anyway. I say, hi, how you doing? Best counter social engineering maneuver there. 15 seconds, I've compromised my first machine from walking into the front door. Payloads deployed in 20 seconds. Retrieve device in 28 seconds. Under 30 seconds, I've already compromised one machine in the bank. She comes and does her job. She's like, questions me. She's like, you know, hello? It's like, and she wants to know what I'm doing. It's like, I'm doing the USB audit because, you know, those are totally legit. It's like, and then so what I do is instead of trying to keep asking, I make her try to do something for me. It's like, I need you to log in real quick. I don't have to answer questions. I'm here to ask you questions because I'm auditing. And the head office was supposed to contact you. But she does the right thing once again. Can you talk to the head manager? And I said, sure, no problem. But here's the mistake that she made. It was just one mistake. She did everything right, but this is the mistake that cost everything. I told her I'll stand by, and she trusted me. Never trust me. Because now I'm inside. He thinks that she vetted me. She thinks he's vetting me. No one vetted me. So now I'm just doing his machine. Now I've changed from an assertive role like the auditor, like I was with her. Now I've switched instantly, and now I'm with Microsoft trying to make the network faster. And you could be on a T1 line straight to your desktop through fiber, and you ask someone if the network's running slow, and they're like, yeah, it's running pretty slow. It's like, I'm here to fix it. What do you need? So, so I go, it's like, if I'm going to try to compromise everything with a manager escorting me, why not go for the data center? I mean, do you blame me? I blame that guy, whoever's doing the video thing like that. You! Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to, I didn't mean actually a point, but you know. So here we go. He's getting the pass. It's like, lead me up the stairs to the data center. I mean, like on this thing, on any engagement, I'm a walking, talking Google streetcar. I've got like video cameras, all different. This is just a really cool high-tech one that National Geographic did with the button camera. We're not going to talk about how I got the data, but the file. But there we go. We're in. And I wish the audio, the only reason why I have audio on it is because when I told the guy, like, you can leave me now, I'm good. I just want to show that I got it here by myself. But right here at this moment, you hear me sigh. And it is the sigh of a person going, I should not have been able to do that so easily. It was a defeatist sigh. Because I really root for the guys. I want them to do good. But then I realized, wait, that guy's my golden effing ticket. Why am I letting him walk away from me? I need to catch up with him real quick. So I get back with him, and I'm like, I'm sticking with you, buddy. Let's go down to the teller line now. Because I totally belong in the teller line, you know? It's like, what could go wrong? So here I am. Now, like, I decided after the manager's desk that I wanted to compromise 100% of the machines. Because I got to be honest with you, it's like I started off this whole engagement of the day where I got caught, and so I was like really overcompensating because I needed to show them big, like I can do things, because no one's going to believe me. Imposter syndrome sucks. And so here I am getting into one of them. I don't know why it was slowing down. That's Darren's fault. It's like, okay, oh, this is the locked one. How rude. Locking your effing workstation? I'm trying to do a compromise here, people. That's okay. He gets the user to come over, the employee to come over from break and log in real quick for me. That was close. I almost didn't do 100%. It's like, but we're good. It's like, now everybody thinks that the big shiny vault things is where the money is. That's ridiculous. It's like the computers are where the money is. But the most valuable computer in the whole bank is where? Where you do the wire transfers. Where the money actually changes hands. This computer right here. This lady, the one doing the wire transfers. And she's very nice to let me get up. And, oh, wire transfers. Nothing bad about me plugging into that one. And it's in the middle of the process of doing a wire transfer, which I felt very bad about. But I don't think I messed it up. It's like mine just does Notepad, and it just says, yeah, this just happened with a smiley face. That's all it pops up. Because I'm doing education. I'm not trying to do compromise. Now, I'm done. And I'm like, I can't believe, like, but then I'm walking out, and I realized one important thing. I may have gotten most out, but I forgot one machine. The one who stopped me. Did I mention I was petty? I don't know if I mentioned that before. I think I did. So I made sure to compromise her machine too. So there we go. Now, if you look at this and you're seeing this, it's like, and you hear so much of all these advanced techniques. What did I do? What was so advanced or persistent about any of this stuff? I used the perceptions. They didn't expect someone like me to be a threat. And I used those perceptions against them. That was it. It was not skills. It was not being lead. It wasn't being a, I mean, look at, how did that just happen? I was more surprised than anybody else. But that's what occurs because it's all about basic perception. That is what I'm trying to do. I am not trying to be like come up with some elaborate stories or trying to come up with like some kind of and read the MPL, whatever that stuff is, you know, the micro expressions and the body. I don't do that stuff. I just look at you like, okay, it's like, it's just, that's what, so let's go look at a little bit more and see another thing about perception, because this is a better example of perception. This is me robbing another bank. I rob a lot of banks for some reason. But watch real quick how I come in. I walk in, and I immediately head for this column right here. And I stay right there. The lady right there at the bottom, she's on her phone. She doesn't really see me. So I'm staying there, and then from that behind that column, I walk straight in to the teller area. Why did they let me in? Because I didn't come from a private area, a public area. I came from the private area. Subconsciously, just not something that people perceive. But because I came from one section and not the other, I'm able to do this. that machine right there is not even plugged in. But I started the process so the person next to me would be comfortable with it. So then I could go to her machine and then plug in the device into hers. And she allowed it. Then when the other person was busy and didn't look like they wanted to be bothered, what did I do? I do what I always do in these situations. I sit down in the chair and I spin around. Because what kind of bank robber spins around in a chair while they're robbing a bank? And then I just interrupt her straight up because I'm in a hurry. It's like, I'm on a time schedule. I'm robbing a bank here, people. I'm smiling all like, hi. And then the lady who wasn't paying attention, yes, I compromised her machine too. But the key thing was that right there got me in. Because if I would have walked in from the public area, if I would have just walked straight in, those tellers would not have let me behind the teller line. Because they would know that I was coming from an open, public, exposed space. They would not register that's what they were thinking about. They would just have a feeling like, no, I don't think he should be here. You know that feeling you get, like, no, I don't think something's not right. That's because they know subconsciously that that's the public area. But I didn't come from that direction. I came from a private area after a certain amount of time where they couldn't see me. So therefore, they assumed that I was talking to the lady right there on her phone. And so therefore, I must have gotten authorization, and so they didn't blink an eye when I then came behind the teller line. Because they didn't see me, so therefore, I must have been there. There was nothing else back there. That's why I was just standing there in the column. So the answer is, you sure hope so, right? But you probably know, unfortunately, your company would not fare much better. Because it's just human nature and human perception that we're trying to go against. Because the key thing is, I'm not attacking your network with technology and O-days to get in. I'm attacking your people using their perceptions and expectations against them. The problem is we have like a little small screen that's like you don't want to go like this to read it, so you just turn around and read it. But that's what I'm talking about. It's basic human perception. We want to talk about like it's training, and you got to train your users. You got to show your users. You got to condition them to understand, to listen when they feel like something's wrong or not right, and act on it. To be more suspicious of those kind of things. Because it's literally time and time again we're taught and we're shown, it's like our perceptions are different based on different people and different outlooks. Does everybody remember the blue and black dress, white gold? That's like old internet meme history and stuff, you know? It's like I can see the old, but don't worry, I know that may not be relevant very right now, so I got a better example of perception. Here's a better one. Because you look at this guy right here at the top, left-hand corner, what a clown. This guy was on Dancing with the Stars. A comedian thought he could be a president. It's like, I mean, I think for a joke, I don't know. Wasn't very popular at first and stuff, you know, when he started. And then you got this alpha male guy and stuff, you know, who is not homoerotic at all. It's like, and he's like, you know, big masculine guy and shoots things and rides horses. And then we realize that that's a perception, but maybe not reality, because when push comes to shove and when things get hard, you realize, oh, that motherfucking clown is a badass. It's like, he may have a lot of issues, or he may be like funny guy, but when it comes to taking care of stuff and helping, it's like he's going to be one that you can depend on. And then you got this guy who turns out like, oh, not so much. People aren't afraid of me as much, so now they're going to realize I'm afraid of them. Because if your trusted advisors are like having to sit in a comically long table, you're going to have to ask yourself, maybe we're the baddies? Because, you know, that's just ridiculous. And I use that perception a lot in my things. What is the most telling thing about using perception that you see in these pictures? For one thing, these pictures are taken 24 hours apart. It's like I showed up with the goatee, no glasses, no hair gel, and in a passive outfit. And we'll get to that in a minute. It's like where I was on help desk, where I can do and then when I really want to start doing the compromise, I shave, dress up, and so people vaguely remember that I look familiar, sort of. It's like because I've changed my appearance just enough to make it look like I think I've seen him before, so I guess he's okay. But also, look at the snow in the background. Where's my jacket? I was freezing my butt off in these pictures. But I cannot rob a company with a jacket on. Because you know why? A jacket means you came from outside. You're not trusted. But if I show up in short sleeve shirt with no jacket, well, either you're an idiot or you must have already been there and you put your jacket up in your office where you're working. So you're legit. And I love acting legit. Acting, keyword there. It's like, so that's how I do it. I just use those kind of basic perceptions. And these are like the 3 perceptions I love to use the most. My OMG, I'm going to just see if it works. My passive help desk role, helper, and my assertive, I'm serious business guy role. It's like, because each one of those I'm going to be attacking you with. Either strapping, some pineapples and stuff onto a cardboard, doing a Dropbox, or some other scans. It's just about the different kinds of attacks. So let's start with the first attack I'll do. Assertive role does not mean aggressive. It's like the mannerisms I'm going to be using are, I'm just here to do an audit. I'm here to help you. It's like I need to come and do this audit. We're having acquisition. It's like I need to do these things. And I'm like, I'm rushed. It's like I'm very official. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's like, and this is what needs to get done. So I'm doing that. And I've done aggressive roles. It's like there's a difference between going, it's like, because I had, it's actually in Germany. It's like, it works very well there. It's like you go in there and you're like straight out. It's like, excuse me, I'm doing the surprise inspection for the server. What part of surprise inspection did you not understand? I didn't fly all the way over from the U.S. just to come over here and say hello. I need to get into the server room, and if you don't want to be on this list, it's like you'll let me in now. What part of surprise do you not understand? Yeah. Oh, thank you. I put them on the list anyway. Sorry, it's part of the job. But it's like, so that doesn't always work. It's best to try to be assertive. It's like, look, I'm doing an audit. It's like, I'm here. Headquarters should have contacted you. It's like, and you saw that when I was first encountered in the first video. But the hardware I use is limited. It's like I can't use anything too technical, too things. Usually I'm using USB drives, a couple other devices, because that looks more in character with being in a suit. It's like, you're wearing a suit, Jason? Yes. And when I'm wearing a suit, I'm going to totally destroy you. You make me wear a tie, I F you up in the worst possible way, no extra charge, okay? You made me put on a tie. And I love this suit. This is my suit. I had a tailor in Beijing named Peter, and that's a custom handmade suit. He made the best suits for me and shirts. And the reason why is because they're not typical suits. It's like, and he asked me when I told him what I wanted, he said, "Are you a magician?" And I was like, "No, Peter, I'm not a magician. Magicians always say there's nothing up my sleeve." It's like, and I'm like, totally there's something up my sleeve. That's why I asked you to put pockets in my sleeves, Peter. It's like, I'm not a magician. It's like, those are bash bunnies in my sleeve. It's like, and so, yeah. And also, I just like having little things around, but also I got some other hacking tools around my wrist area and sleeve area. Can you see the 3 different hacking devices in this picture? I mean, the first one's like really easy, the spy pin, right? The USB 8 gig hard drive, high def camera pin. The 16 gig USB hard drive and HD video camera watch is, really cool too, because there's a little cable that you can put in. It looks like an audio cable. You plug it in, download 16 gigs of data onto the watch, and then walk out with it. Hi Snowden. And it's like, but also the really cool. I always make sure that I got French cuffs for my shirts. I mean, first of all, I just like looking fancy, but also because of my cuff links. I love my cuff links. One's a USB wireless adapter, so I'm putting that into your server or your desktop unit and turning it into a wireless access point for me, because who needs a Dropbox when I can use your network and network access controls to let me have access? And the other one is a 2 gig USB hard drive. It's like, that's not too much, Jason. It's enough for a command and control software, some malicious malware, and also wireless USB drivers, so happens, for Mac, Linux, and Windows. So it's like I can plug in the other cuff link and, whole wireless access point thing, right? Now, here's the cool stuff. My jacket also has pockets. Ladies, it's got pockets. I think one of the worst things in Western society is that women can't have pockets and men can't have purses. I think that's ridiculous. I love my purse. It's like so, and I think that y'all should have pockets. But I have lots of pockets. And I put lots of things in those pockets. I don't put all these things in the pockets at one time, because then I'd be like, hi, how are you doing? Don't mind me, I am not suspicious. It's like, but yeah, I will mix and match. You got to accessorize, but yeah, I will have different devices in there. And the back pocket, there's a back specially designed pocket in the back of the jacket where I've literally stolen the laptop because it just fits in there. It's like, usually I do documents, but laptops fit also. So now let's go to the next row. Passive roles, they're not meant to be wimpy or timid. They're just to be like, I'm here to help you. Help me help you. Hardware, I can use all kinds of different things. And yes, I have literally robbed people wearing a work shirt that says hacker on it. And that is a picture of me compromising a place with a work shirt in the blue that says, your company's computer guy. It's like, which is from SNL. And I robbed a place, right there in the financial district of Wall Street with that shirt, which I thought was cool. And there's my fake Microsoft badge, because I love compromising with Microsoft. They're very helpful. It's like, and so I also have my clipboard. You have a clipboard, you get anywhere. But once again, pockets. It's like, and so there's one of my other Bash Bunnies. I love that one because it says victim on it. I always come with warning labels. And also I come with some OMG malicious cables. That's great. But the most important tool in my arsenal is right there. Envelopes and a marker. Because I go by a secured area I've already been in, and I see offices and I see desks that are unoccupied. But their name's there. They got a name badge or a tag there showing whose office that is. So I go in, take one of my malicious USB drives, put it in the envelope, seal it up nice and tight, get a marker, write their name on it, put it on the desk, walk away. Someone comes back from their lunch break or their meeting, they see an envelope that is sealed with their name on it in a secured location, and they see a USB drive. Who's not plugging that in? Can you name one of your employees that's not plugging that one in? Exactly. Very effective. It's like, who wants to do drops? Doing the whole scatter thing in the parking lot, that's so Mr. Robot. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's like, I want to make it delivered to them. The clipboard also comes with, Wi-Fi Pineapple, Screen Crab, Proxmart, and all the other things, for your hacking needs, including my emergency, cell phone, because I just thought it was cool. I mean, literally, I don't ever use it, but it looks cool. So the other role is the OMG role. That is like, I've robbed the place going in as a TV producer, a drunk guest, like barefoot T-shirt, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pajama bottoms. I mean, that is literally how I've robbed places before, successfully. So that's good. And usually I'm just using a pin or a USB drive pin. USB drive pin or just a USB drive rubber ducky or something like that. Something basic, something just like, and it's just outlandish, like I need to use the restroom. It's like, oh, I'm just coming in for a job interview. Or my car broke down, can I just come in here for anything weird? It's like, because sometimes I just don't have anything else. And I'm just spitballing, okay? It's like, don't judge me, I'm still successful. So the whole thing is, the point is, remember, if I do find a way in, and usually do, because those are two places where people told me I could not get in, and I did. That one's 7 stories up in Nicosia, Cyprus, where I had to climb on the outside of a building on a vent going the wrong way because they said that I couldn't defeat their security cameras and get into their server room on the other side of the roof. I made the guy who said that take the picture because the camera was in my jacket, and I had him holding my jacket, so that was fun. So remember, if I get in, make sure your employees know how to respond once I'm there. This is a picture from, this was the one from 2020. Yeah, this is the picture of my best success story ever. Everybody talks about me accidentally robbing a bank in Beirut like that was cool. That was a fail. That was me screwing up. That was me not doing a good job. My best job was this one because I went in there in 2019 and destroyed them. I went through them like butter in 2019, but I educated them. I did security awareness training with them. I got them to understand the importance of what I was doing and why their users needed to be educated. I go back in 2020 and I got stopped from people that had not worked there the year before, people who just were doing their job, who knew the proper process. Their CEO, during their employee yearly meeting, spent 10 minutes talking about information security and the responsibilities of their employees to be involved in it. And they took it seriously. That's a win. Red team is only in existence to make the blue team better. And if you're not rooting for your clients to succeed, you're failing. That was one of the best engagements I've ever had because it showed that what I did the year before mattered. And it showed them and it taught them, and I did a good job with that and telling them what that was. If I go in the next year and I break in with the same exploit or the same vulnerability, that's not a success. I failed to properly show the users and the clients why they needed to take that seriously. I do get ranty in the mornings. So solution 0. I don't know if I have that much time. Do I have much time? Wait, I have 20 more minutes, don't I? I talk really fast. He's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. It's like, this guy's like, I don't like that American. It's like, so yeah, I've been rushing because I thought it was supposed to be at 10, but I think I got till 10:20, right? I'm looking at you. You know when you're coming on 10:20? Okay, very good. Okay, so I've got at least 20 minutes. It's like, so, because I was rushing through and I didn't want to rush through because I want to talk about these. So the first one is remember perceptions. We fail at security awareness training because we talk about hypotheticals. No one wants to believe something bad is going to happen. So when you talk about, well, be careful of these situations, they're thinking in the back of their mind, that's never going to happen to us. Oh, that's not something that's going to really happen to us. Do you know one of the scariest places that you could ever live? Especially in America. A quiet neighborhood. Because you read the newspapers, it's a quiet neighborhood. Nothing really happened. No one knew about the hidden basement. It's like, you know, it's like that you always hear it always happens in a quiet neighborhood. This is such a quiet neighborhood. It's like, who knew that he had those many Uzis, you know? Such a quiet neighborhood. It's like, I didn't know about that collection of human heads. It's like, I want to live in a very loud urban area, okay? They seem way much safer. Because it's about perception, we don't want to think that something happened. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. One of the first radar installations in the world. Most of the world was at war. They had a radar station, and all of a sudden, they got a warning that planes were coming in from an unknown vector and unknown planes. The guy saw it, did his job. The radar was working perfect. The technology did its job. The person detecting it did their job. And they reported it to their supervisor. Sir, we got planes coming in from an unknown vector. What should we do? Do you know what he did? I kid you not. In this time of like, you're supposed to be at war, you're supposed to be ready, it's like things are going on. He said, those are probably our training planes coming in from California. Disregard. That was it. Because if he would have thought the bad thing, then that means something bad was going to happen. Users and humans and people, we don't want to think bad things can happen. It's like, and so we have to show them, even though you don't want to think about those things, you should be prepared for those things. Show them how these kind of attacks actually happen. Don't just do classes and scripts and like test this or 10 question multiple choice every 6 months and think that you're qualified in security awareness training. Don't do a phishing campaign and think that you've done security awareness training. It's like, give them examples. Show them real world examples of places that have been compromised and what happened and how it happened. And let them know that it could happen at their place. Give them actual things that they can look at and see, oh yeah, that could have been me. Oh yeah, that could have been us. We need to do better. And make it part of the responsibility. Because you have, and another thing that you have to do is you need to interact. How many times do you meet an employee when they didn't do something wrong? Are you actually going to your employees and talking to them when they didn't do something wrong? I used to work in law enforcement and physical security, 35, 40 years ago. I'm old. It's like, and when I did that, I always met people on their worst possible day. Something horrible just happened, and I showed up, or I showed up, something horrible is going to happen to them. It was always their worst possible day. With information security, you need to stop that. You need to be able to give out bulletins. When there is a major flaw, like an office thing, it's like, yeah, that's a great thing to get everybody in a buzz about, like, dropping O-days in here. That's great. But it's also a good opportunity to send out a bulletin company-wide saying, by the way, everyone, there's a flaw out. We're looking at it. We're researching it. You don't have to give them the technical. Just let them know. Interact with them. When iOS updates come out, Android updates come out, send out a notice to the employees to let them know, by the way, there's a new security update, and it adds new emojis. That'll get them. Trust me. It's like you show those, and that shows that you're helping. If you do lunch and learns and help interact with the employees and let them know, and also go and visit their employees and see what they're doing on a daily basis, just saying, hey, I just wanted to shadow you a little bit to see what your job is like, to make sure that we're in the sync and we're seeing the same kind of alerts and we know what kind of activity is going on here. Nothing bad, no harm, no foul. Literally just trying to get to know what's going on and getting to know the process. Then, when something bad does happen, they don't automatically see you as a threat. When they see something suspicious, they're comfortable with telling you. Because you got to do the 3 E's. You got to educate them. Educate them, not just security awareness. I'm not talking about that. You need to educate them that it's their job responsibility to be on the information security team. That's part of their job responsibility. It's not just an afterthought. It's like their job is to do HR, to do PDF files, to do filing, to do all this, and then also make sure their computers are secured. It's like you need to make sure that is one of the responsibilities from the first day that they're hired. Then you got to empower them. You got to make them feel confident and reward and understand and let them understand that you are actually there trying to help them, not to catch them doing something wrong. And you got to give them an extension to call and an email to forward suspicious emails to. You got to give them those tools so they can be part of the team. And then you got to enforce the policies. One of the biggest hot take debates I've ever been on Twitter is this simple fact. You do a phishing test, someone fails it. You re-educate them. You take them through another class, you educate them, you explain to them what was wrong, you tell them what they did wrong, you tell them what happened, and you make sure that they do better. The second time they fail it, you put them on a segmented network with a whitelisted email server gateway that they have to like check out which emails they want to get out, and it's heavily filtered and monitored. They click on a third one, you fire them. I don't know how many people would let a delivery driver wreck a delivery van 3 times and stay employed. That's a $60,000 van. We're letting people click on emails that are costing companies $300 million, and we're not blinking an eye. It's like, that's just the way it's got to be. They got to understand. If they don't understand that part of the way that they get to feed and clothe themselves and their dependents is based on doing good security policy, they will do good security policy, because that's tied into their pay. But we're not letting them, we're failing them and not telling them that's exactly what is happening. So what we need to do better is we need to stop chasing O-days. It's like people talking about, like, you know, it's like all these current O-days. I'm like, what about, we got to catch the low-hanging fruit. You got to be able to at least secure the low-hanging fruit in your network. And I'm like, the fruit's on the ground. Pick that stuff up. And you know what the problem is? That stuff sucks. Because you got to bend down. I got a bad back, and I got to do a base analysis on my network. I got to figure out what all my assets are. I got to figure out what our patch history is. What's our patch policy? How many servers have been patched? That sucks. Stop complaining about your user stuff when you're not doing the hard work in the foundation. Foundations are vital, and they're ugly. Whoever goes and looks at a wonderful skyscraper and goes, I wonder how well the foundation looks. It's gross. It's like, you know, concrete just slabbed in. It's like it's just all piled in there. That's not a good process. It's not a fun process. It's massively needed to make sure that the whole structure is stable. So we need to start working on that more. Whew. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm done. And I was told that, you know, people are very shy, like especially in the mornings. And so I always do it very well. If there's no questions, you don't have to worry, okay? I don't want to put anybody on the spot. It's like I will run out into the audience and randomly pick someone to ask me a question. So don't worry. I'm sure I'll get a question at some point.
Raise of hands. Questions? Yeah.
Ah, there's a brave person. Yes.
Frederick, do you want the mic? Up.
Yes.
Speak up.
Do you ever get nervous on your engagement?
Motherfucker, I just got nervous before I spoke up here. It's like anybody who said they're not nervous is like they're scary people. It's like my first thought, he asked, like, do I ever get nervous on engagements? My first thoughts on engagements are literally this process. It's like, no matter, and I've done this for years, and every single one of them, it's like, I don't know how I do this. It's like, how this is going to go wrong. As soon as it goes wrong, they're not going to pay me. They're not going to feel like I was worth the money. I'm going to be stupid. It's like I'm going to feel dumb. It's like I don't know how I'm going to get away with this. It's like I don't really know if they're going to let me in. It's like, I mean, I feel desperate. I feel like just 100% like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I've done things. But to remember that I've done things before I got to do something is totally different. And it's like, so it's ridiculous. And so, yes, I get nervous all the time. It's like, because you know, that's just the way I am. And it's okay to be that way. It's like we always go around a situation where it's like, especially on talks, it's like, and I did a talk one year about nothing but my fails, because we get on these stages and you're in the audience and you see these people getting up here talking about the wonderful 0 day they dropped or the technology they broke. And you're like, that's amazing. How am I ever going to be that awesome? And they never talk about all the times they failed trying to get to that point, or all the different things that didn't go right. It's like, I have screwed up royally on engagements. It's like, I mean, I've almost gotten arrested on a couple of engagements. One time almost shot. It's like I've done some things, okay? I took down a couple of servers here and then. Who hasn't? Come on. It's like, so yeah, I've made that. We need to make making mistakes normal again. It's like it can't be about perfection. It's got to be about learning and trying to do better. Next question.
Don't be shy. Come on. Yep.
I was like, you're going to make me come down there.
Looking at the videos, a lot of the systems you Facebook and stuff were basically open up 2001.
Yes.
Were those really old videos, or are the systems that you compromised actually not updated?
Two things. Yes and yes. It's like, yes, that's no video, but yes, I still run across Windows 7. It's like Windows 8. It almost makes you weep about how bad systems are being upgraded. But also the other key thing is, what I'm doing is, it didn't matter what operating system it was, because I didn't have a payload on there. I didn't do a vulnerability. All it did was open up Notepad. On a Windows 10 machine or a Windows 11 machine, it will do the same thing, because I am trying to teach them a lesson and show that this could have happened. I am not trying to, and I've learned this in my red teaming, and the reason why I don't do red teaming, I'm not that cool. I do security awareness engagements. That's what I call them. I make sure, one, I always get caught in my engagements, because I got to give the company a win. I got to give the users a win, so it's not just all the things they did wrong. They have something to look up to. We need to be able to ensure that we're just not beating them over the head with everything that made mistakes. We got to show them that there's hope. This is what this person did well. It's like, and sometimes I've had to go out of my way to give them a win, but it's like I make sure that happens. The second of all is, if you compromise and you show them a vulnerability, like, yeah, we got in here, we got all this data. At the back of their mind, they're thinking, what else did they take? What else do they have? And now you own that network. Congratulations. 6 months from now, email server goes down. Didn't we have a security team coming in and fiddling around with our stuff on our network? You own that. It's like me, I just show up. I'm plugging in a Notepad, dude. It's like I just did and also literally, that is the only thing that kept me out of Lebanese prison. It's like, honestly, was able to show the people that I accidentally robbed that it was just Notepad. It did not go well. But that is literally the only thing that kept me out of prison, was the fact that it's like, it was just a Notepad exploit. It wasn't trying to compromise or do a vulnerability.
Anyone else?
I've got 7. Oh, actually, let's go like 3 minutes. I got one more question, so that way it'll give Viz some time to actually get set up before his talk.
Come on, don't be shy. Don't be strangers. Let's go. Yeah.
Yes. The most wacky thing I had to do to get caught. Oh my gosh, I had destroyed this company so badly, and I felt really bad about it. Sometimes I literally do everything I can, because I'm trying to be there to teach. I'm not trying to like show how cool I am or how bad I can break something. I'm trying to give them lessons and experience. So when they catch me, that's good. That's an experience. That's an educational lesson. But this one they weren't getting it. It's like I'd gone to 3 different branches. I got in all 3 times tonight. Horribly bad. Not horribly bad for me. It's like horribly bad for them. So this one, I get in. I got into the server room. I'm behind the teller line for 20 minutes, just wondering when the guy is going to realize, who the am I? Just ask that question. At least offer me some coffee or something. Figure out why is this guy standing here? So I literally realized he's not going to get it. So I scoot over to him. I tap on his shoulder. And because I'm sitting at this desk with this server, this little desktop server thing, doing some kind of business stuff, and it's locked. And I'm like, excuse me, what's the user ID and password for this machine? He tells me. It's the user ID and the password are the same. It's the name of the machine that's in the prompt. Yay. So I log in, and in the middle of business, they're doing business, I shut down this server that they're using. I then unplug it from beneath the desk, and I start walking out thinking, maybe now they'll ask something. And literally, as soon as it was not till I got to the gate of the teller line that the guy was like, hold up, can I help you? And I'm obviously helping myself. I mean, I literally, there was 3 or 4 different things I could have said that would have got him to let me go. But that wasn't the mission. The mission was to educate. As soon as he said, can I help you? I was like, oh, wow, you got me. Crap, yes, this was a security assessment. I was just checking to see if you were good. I mean, you were just checking to make sure that I was like, what if I was being sketchy or not. And it's like, well done. It's like, you make sure I didn't go out the thing. It's like, I mean, you were just logging in just scoping me out. I understand. It's like, you did great, and he was the hero. And that's all that was necessary, because it doesn't matter what really went on between me and him. The report was I got caught, and I had his name, so the other employees got to see that he did a good job, that it wasn't an impossible task, that it wasn't something impossible that could not be done, that all the other employees could be like that as well. And so that was the worst. I mean, literally, that was like, it's like it was hard not to like just run at that point. Yes. Oh, that was a good question. That's a good question. Last question, but that was a good. When I first started out, I started out thinking that I had to be a red teamer. It's like, and see, the problem is I have very low self-esteem and imposter syndrome. So I felt like when I was doing red team, and because of the fact that I'm a high school dropout and no college and not nearly as technical as some of these other people that are in this room, that it's like I had to prove that I was. So I always like, I got to destroy them. I got to do like really bad and stuff, and I got to like break into everything. And then I just do a report. And it was like, and I never really liked it. It's like, because I didn't give them a report. 3 months later, they get a report saying this is what happened. And so I was doing this one engagement for a federal building, actually. They loved this. And I was waiting to get into this one. It's like there's a hallway. And once again, this is actually based on perception. There was a hallway with a door this way, and then an entranceway around the corner here, an entranceway around the corner there. So what I did was I stood behind one of the entranceways, and I went like this. And I stood like this for about, I think it was about 5 minutes. And you got to learn to, you stand like this, so as soon as you hear that door open, you're starting to walk. And because your natural gait has already started, subconsciously a person will perceive that you were already just coming from the other door. Versus if you start from a half, the way you see how the stance is different when you're starting off versus when you've already started your gait. And so I did that. So someone came in, and this lady walked in. She walked into the other door, and I just followed in behind her. And she looked at me like, that's the sketchy eye, in case anybody can't tell. And so I'm like, and so I just, hi, say hi. It's like, yeah. And I turn left, she goes right. I go into the first office, compromise the first machine. I'm successful, I won, I beat them, right? And then I go to another machine. And I've compromised another one, yay me. But then I come out of that second office, and I see the lady down the hall talking to another lady at a desk. And there's concern, and they're looking at me, and I'm walking down this hallway toward them, and the door to leave is on the right, and I had this epiphany. I could walk out that door to the right and be an awesome red teamer who's totally compromised this floor that the client didn't really think I could get in, or I could keep going forward and give them a lesson and let them win. I went forward, smiled hi to the lady, and it's like, walked over to another thing, and it's like, and I was compromising another lady's machine when this 6 foot, 25 foot, you know, ex-retired Air Force, you know, commando comes running in, and I instantly regretted my decision, okay? And it's like, he screams, like, what are you doing? It's like, you have authorization. I'm like, mother, I didn't even give him my, I always carry forged get out of jail free cards. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even bother with that one. I went straight, call this guy. He'll tell you I'm supposed to be here. You know, it's like, and it gave them the win. And so they learned from that. And I never did a red team afterwards. It's like, it's always been security awareness engagements after that. It's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to educate, and I tell the people on the site, and before they even hire me, I am not there to test your systems. I'm there to teach. It's like, I'm not trying to give you losses. I'm trying to give you lessons. And that's how we should be approaching it. We should let the users know that they're not being, I am not your adversary. I'm your advocate. It's like, I'm there to help you get better by showing you where we need to improve. We, as a company, as your client, as the person that's helping you, we're a team in this to help you improve. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayson.